Good evening. Welcome to another episode of our series of discussions, panel discussions on climate action and disaster preparedness. Today we are going to discuss about climate smart agriculture and organic solutions for a resilient food system. To discuss these things, we have a distinguished panel today with us. First, I would like to introduce Dr. W.M.W. Veerakorn. He is the Senior Agriculture Specialist of the Food and Agriculture Organization of United Nations, FAO, and he was the former Director General of Agriculture. Dr. Veerakorn, welcome to Rupavahini. Then we have Dr. D.M. Priyanka S. Disanayaka. She is the Principal Agricultural Scientist, Field Crop Research and Development Institute at Mahalupallama, Department of Agriculture. Welcome, Doctor. Then we have Mr. Yasara Pradeep Ranasinghe. He is the Additional Director of Institute of Seed Certification and Plant Protection Center, Department of Agriculture. Welcome. So, without further delay, I am going to direct questions to our distinguished panel. First, I would like to turn towards Dr. Veerakorn. Doctor, what's the impact of the climate change to the farming sector? You can elaborate more on, because we heard many things, many aspects on this matter, but you can explain us the real impact of the climate change to the farming sector.
Yeah. Good evening, Prasad. Let me at the outset thank the Rupavahini for bringing up this very important topic, the impact of climate change on climate impacts on farming in Sri Lanka. Now, we all know our weather is changing. Climate change is of course a long-term phenomena which is happening over so many years, and our farmers, consumers and everybody is now experiencing that climate change impacts. If you go very specifically to farming, that is agriculture, we see the farming that we did 30-40 years back is very much different to today's farming, not only on technology aspects, but the impact of climate on farming aspects. Now, what is happening is climate change is, of course, as we all know, is because of the increasing in greenhouse gases that will have an impact on global temperatures, that will have an impact on circulation of global hydrological circulation and all kinds of things that have an impact on definitely a weather on a particular place. Now, if you take Sri Lankan situation, now we are experiencing a change in rainfall patterns. Now, even in our ancient history, why our kings developed this cascade is of course because there was no rain. They were not talking about climate change, but those were the things that even at that time we were ready to face that type of impacts. We are not going to talk on detail about that, but the direct impact of climate change on agriculture is one is our productivity of crops have gone down. This is of course because the increase in temperature will have a direct effect on the physiology of the crop, and that has a direct effect on the biotic stressors. Biotic stressors is the pest and diseases. There will be increasing in pest and disease pressure because of the changes in temperatures. There will be a direct effect on the abiotic stressors. That's the you will get droughts and floods because the rainfall patterns have changed over time. Now, if you take, I can remember way back, I measured, got the data from Mahavali river flow from 1983 up to 2010 or something. The water levels on those rivers, that is at the Polgola barrage, has gone down. Partly because of the removal of water for drinking other purposes, but partly because of the change in rainfall patterns in the upper catchment of the Mahavali river. So there will be a reduction in rainfall water, available water for irrigation purposes, and also there will be a reduction in quality. Quality is also going to down with that. So all that will have an impact on agriculture, because as I told you, there will be that will have a direct impact on the amount of land that you are going to cultivate, because without water you can't do anything. So all that has an impact on the final product, that is the quantity of produce that you are going to produce, and also the quality of the product. Increase in temperature will have a direct impact on the quality of the product. So in general, if you don't do anything and stay as it is, there will be a huge impact of climate change on agriculture production in this country.
Yes, thank you, Doctor. Then I would like to turn towards Dr. Priyanka. How important is for us to move forward with the eco-friendly farming system when we consider the impact of climate change?
Yes, good evening. And I think Dr. Veerakon very well explained what is climate change, and now the agriculture sector is facing various type of problems with this climate change and other human activities also. So the productivity has gone down. So further adding with that climate change impact, so reducing the yield of most of the crops due to that high temperature. Then main problem is the soil degradation, soil erosion, and also there is a high possibility to increase the pest and disease outbreaks. So farmers have to face those things, especially agriculture sector. We have to have solutions to increase the productivity especially. So we turn into climate smart agriculture. There are many approaches. So climate smart agriculture address the solutions to mitigate and adaptation of these agricultural practices to improve the productivity and sustainability. So in that case, we have to address more about the our environmental aspects, especially soil fertility and crop productivity. In that case, we have developed different technologies. Especially, we have to think about the agriculture crop. That means that crop productivity and also the environmental sustainability. So in that case, we have to think about the soil, water, and the crop, especially the yield and the quality of the yield. So when we consider the productivity improvement, we have to have the approaches to improve soil fertility, especially when we think about the soil. Early we had very fertile soil, but now with the climate change and also with the human activities, applying more inputs, maybe chemical, organic inputs, and also applying lot of chemicals, agrochemicals, the climate has changed. The balance, because we know that the environment, the nature is a balanced system, soil is a balanced system, but when we consider the soil, we can't expect the total productivity, because soil fertility means that there are 5 major factors in soil. We have to think about the soil water content, soil moisture, then soil air, then the nutrients, and also the organic matter content, and also the one very important thing is the soil biology. So when our farmers mainly focus on soil fertility, only the nutrients, but when we mitigate these problems, environmental problems, we have to think about all factors, and we have to improve overall soil fertility. Even though we have high productive varieties, we have to begin from the soil. So soil fertility improvement is very, very important aspect in this climate adaptation. So we address farmers to produce their own materials. We have lot of resources to produce organic fertilizers, and also there are available materials, also the animal manure and other things, and also we have chemical inputs, chemical fertilizers, but we have to use those things in very correct way. So we have to think about the site-specific problems. There are facilities under the Department of Agriculture. Each farmer can test their soil in the farmland, and we can identify. He can get the idea about what type of problems in his farmland and what type of solutions we have to do. Then we support them to develop use the materials correctly, and also there are many developed varieties such as the pest and disease resistant varieties. Then there are some problems in some areas, soil salinity and other things. There are developed varieties for that kind of things, and iron toxicity, and also some varieties can withstand with low nutrient content. So farmers should think those things, and there are some adaptation practices, integrated plant nutrient management system. That means that if we go for high production with high quality, we have to address both chemical and organic fertilizers, and also there are some IPM, mean integrated integrated pest management systems. So there are ecological approaches, eco-friendly approaches. So if we practice those IPNS, IPM, and also organic farming, that is another aspect, but people are afraid of that word organic. So
Yes.
I use that eco-friendly approach.
Yes, we have to
So,
discuss it.
yeah.
I have another specific question for
Yeah.
that, doctor.
So we have to think about the eco-friendly way. We have to think about not only the production of the crop, we have to think about the nature, we have to think about the soil, we have to think about the water, because under the soil the drinking water is there. So we have to think about the all the environment when we go for agriculture or any production system. So that is very important to think about eco-friendly approaches in cultivation and crop production.
Yes, now, Mr. Pradeep, Dr. Priyanka mentioned a number of measures taken as adaptations for climate-friendly farming. What are the actions taken by Sri Lanka in principle to safeguard the farming sector from threats of climate change?
Yes, good evening, Mr. Prasad. With the brief introduction of Dr. Veerakorn and some answer already provided by the Dr. Priyanka. So, as a country and Department of Agriculture and Ministry of Agriculture, we have already taken some step to overcome that climate changes, the pace to that problem. So, I like to highlight 2 points. One is we can go with that problem. So for that, Department of Agriculture already taken some action from the more than 30 years back. In the early 19, Department of Agriculture takes some action. First one is the develop some crop varieties, the major crop varieties, rice, maize, some vegetables, and some field crops that can tolerate the climate changes. So, as an example, Department of Agriculture in Rice Research Institute, Bathalegoda, they introduce some rice varieties, short term rice variety. Some rice variety that they can tolerate the flood condition. Like thing, by doing we can improve our crop and food security. So also as introduced mentioned by the Dr. Veerakorn, main problem with the climate change regarding the agriculture sector, we face to the pest and disease problem. So Department of Agriculture, we address smart pest and disease management method. that were the adapt for the climate changes, because the development with crop variety, we introduced the crop that they are tolerant pest and diseases. Also other thing, not only the improving crop variety, we want to introduce to our farmers the production technology that we can tolerate with the climate changes. So as an example, we have introduced some smart irrigation system. Now in this date, Department of Agriculture with the awareness program, we introduce the smart drip irrigation system for the bee onion production. So with that technology, we can tolerate that climate problem. Also other thing, when we consider about, as mentioned by the Dr. Priyanka, some approaches we can take from the eco-friendly approaches. It is very useful because with that I highlighted my second point. With our agriculture system, sometimes we accelerate the climate changes because of the sometimes with our production system we didn't consider about the emission of greenhouse gases, carbon dioxide, methane like thing. So that point I want to highlight. With the agricultural practices, we have to consider about the reduce that greenhouse gases and other bad thing that affect for the environment. So for that, Department of Agriculture also introduced some mechanism to reduce some agrochemicals, reduce some machinery like thing. We can go for the zero tillage practices like thing, reduce the greenhouse gas emission like thing. We can address something that not effect for the climate changes.
Right. Yes, now I would like to ask Dr. Veerakorn, how important is sustainable farming in finding solutions to the current crisis we mentioned?
Now, I think sustainable farming is the solution for this crisis today as well as years to come, because we know the sustainable farming is something producing what is required amounts without compromising the things, the natural ecosystem for the future generations, right? So that component, as Priyanka said, it has the what you call environmental sustainability is a #1 priority. Beyond that, of course, the producing adequate quantities for the country, as well as if you are going to export or what is the whole this thing, is the #1 priority. And then the second one is the environmental priority, where we should not further deteriorate the environment, like soil, water, as well as the biodiversity in the ecosystems. So that's a must. And then the producer must think of the economic feasibility. Without economics, of course, farmers will not adhere to those practices. So that's #1 is the productivity improvement. Environmental sustainable, it should be environmental sustainable, and then it should be economically feasible, and also it should be socially acceptable. I mean, there are so many norms and other things that we should so to do all that, as Priyanka said, when you combine all those into one package, that is what you call climate smart good agricultural practices. You know, good agricultural practices is a must for the country today. Otherwise, we are deteriorating our own environment, and we can produce enough food without thinking about the environment and the mining of the resources what is available. So climate smart good agricultural practice is the priority, and this thing. So that is the way that sustainable agriculture should go in. When you think of climate smart agriculture, it is not just producing something in the field. It's a technique which we have learned over the last so many years. History told us so many things. It starts from the timing of planting. It's not just every farmer will go and do their own farming and things like that. Corporate cultivation should be there. We have to maximize the input use efficiency, that is the water efficiency should be there. We have to minimize the water use and maximize the production, because if you don't minimize the water use, what will happen is the water for irrigation will not be adequate to cultivate that particular land area. So there will be a reduction in land area. So because of that, there will be a reduction in food production. So minimizing water use by increasing the water use efficiency, as Pradeep said, there are so many techniques of farming techniques where you can reduce the water. If you think of paddy alone, now farmers are using roughly about 5 to 6 acre feet per acre to produce feet per acre to produce about 4 to 5 tons per hectare of paddy. But the same thing can be done by reducing the amount of water that is being used, by combining the beneficial effects of rainfall as well as the irrigation water. So that is a priority where that has to be done by a collective farming system, where all farmers should do everything together at a particular time. And so that collective farming, time of planting, very important. Because the other hand, now if you think of what you call the onset of rains, because our farmers know that when it's the Talavasa coming, and then with the second intermonsoon during March season coming. So we have a rule of thumb that the second week of October, that is October 10th, the first second winter monsoon will start, right? And the monsoon will start somewhere around 42nd week of the year. But if you think of the, this year, it is little bit advanced, or even sometimes it goes down. So those are the impact of climate change. So we have to adhere to those principles and make sure that all farmers get together and cultivate on that particular this thing. Now, when it comes to sustainable farming, as I told you earlier, we have to maximize the productivity, minimize the input use, and increase the input use efficiency, while increasing the quality of the product. They are the what you call the hitch is, farmers should adopt all those technologies. Of course, as I told you earlier, they can't do whatever they wanted to do. Now, one good example is we brought in is the precision farming, precision agriculture, where you give the exact amount of fertilizer, exact amount of water that is required to produce that particular product from a particular unit land area. If you don't do that, what will happen is in time to come there won't be any water, there will be a huge impact. So that is why the precision farming comes in. Of course, our farmers are doing it without knowingly this. So there again, I will go back to this what they said is, where you must apply fertilizer based on the soil test values. You should not apply anything more than that is required. If there is no need to apply basal fertilizer, don't do it. You should apply urea, nitrogen only when the crop needs it. Our ancient farmers knows that they go and look at the crop and calculate how much is required for the next 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and then apply the exact quantity of fertilizer. So that there are techniques that to do that, right? So if you and then they apply water only the required amount, not excess. We have technologies like alternate wetting and drying, which will reduce the amount of water that is used, plus reduce the emission of greenhouse gases from the rice paddies. So all those technologies should come in. So that is called I call it as sustainable agriculture, because in time to come, if you don't practice this now, definitely we will have to face a lot of problems in terms of producing adequate food for our own consumption. Now, I was talking only about the food, but when it comes to the sustainable farming system, we have to think about the total food system, from the seed to the plate, right? Now, whatever we produce, it has to be sustainable. Okay, let's say we are producing it in a very sustainable manner, but what will happen if you lose it after post-harvest losses? If the post-harvest losses are very high, then of course we are losing a lot of food that we are producing. So that also should go into that. We have to make sure that we are producing the exact quantity and that quantity is being secured. And then after that, the milling and all the value addition, everything is done. And at the end of the day, it goes to the household level. I think just one point, how much of food waste is happening in this country? That is something will come back again back to the production system. So the overall system has to be taken into consideration in that.
Yes, actually the UN system that you are also involved in has taken care of this issue seriously, and I learned that number of programs have been, projects have been launched to minimize the food waste,
loss and waste.
Food loss and waste,
because
both in agriculture sector as well as in the fisheries sector.
Because fisheries sector is, I think, very high. The FAO, Food and Agriculture Organization, we are having different projects through different donor funding. We are doing pilots on that. If you think of fisheries sector, now the fish that we catch from the sea, a huge amount is lost when you come back to the shore. So that's we are not eating the real high quality fish. So so that how to improve that using refrigeration systems and all that. And then even when it comes to food loss and waste, circular project is there where we are trying right from the school children level to train them to make sure that we are not wasting our food, because it's a crime at the end of the day.
Yes. Then Dr. Priyanka, what can you say about the current status of our farming sector when considering its sustainability aspect?
Good question. In overall, when we go, there are different crops, rice, then field crops, maize, legumes like things, and fruits and vegetables. In most of the cases, we can't see the sustainability because of the adaptation of adaptation of overuse of inputs, especially when we go for upcountry area, most of the vegetable cultivation is there, the soil organic matter content is very high. Because of that, soil is the old land soil is eroded. The topsoil, which is very important part of the crop growth, so it has gone away because of practices, because farmers do not care about the soil. When we cultivate, we have to think about the soil, which is the most important resource we have, and we don't love the soil. So that is the problem. We gain the yield, and there is no seasonal changes, because they are overuse the soil, and sometimes land use for 3 seasons without allowing to rest even to breathe the soil.
One supplement question. So do you have some awareness programs targeting farmers to educate them regarding this?
Yes.
Because they don't care about the soil, so we have to do something related, because it's a grave problem.
Yes.
So what are the actions taken by the Department of Agriculture?
Yes, especially we create awareness about the importance of soil, especially soil health management. So if you see this picture, actually you can see that the current situation of the farmland. So in this case, the farmer's land is this type, and this is the ancient soil. So we heard that the early people said that the Vieli Dandak would the palave. So even a dried stick, they will emerge. But now we can't see this type of soil. The total topsoil, the top layer has gone away. So we educate farmers the importance, then site specific fertilizer, how we identify the soil problems, and also we especially we educate them how to produce organic fertilizer using their resources, especially the composting and the vermicomposting. We encourage them to produce, and we actually freely give some worms to. That is the easy way of producing compost, and also the different types of other inputs like liquid fertilizers and biofertilizers. Now we produce and encourage farmers to use these kind of things by reducing the chemical application, because if we when we think about the soil, major properties are soil physical, chemical and biological. The chemical properties mean that the plant nutrients. Most of the farmers don't know about the plant nutrient requirement, even though people apply the different types of fertilizers. Especially they apply only nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium, but there are other 13 or 14 we have to apply as the plant also like us. So when we eat our food, our meals, we encourage people to add more vegetables, fruits and leafy vegetables, because they contain vitamins, minerals like things. As plant also need those micro and secondary and micronutrients. Then because of those all nutrients, plant can grow healthier, and they can withstand environmental problems, and also the yield will be very good in nutrition. So we have to think about supplying all nutrients. That is why we encourage farmers to use organic fertilizer, because other than chemical fertilizer we mainly apply nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. Other micro macronutrients we can supply by the organic fertilizer. Another thing is that when we talk about organic fertilizer, people are afraid because the huge amount of organic fertilizer should be dumped to the field. So they are afraid, and it is very difficult actually. The transport cost and the labor is high for that kind of activities. So we have to encourage farmers to develop their soil fertility as a nutrient pool. We have to encourage them to develop a nutrient pool using some kind of easily available materials. Then the animal manure, then green manure there, then soil mulching. Soil should be covered with mulching materials. Then there are very easy ways to drag microorganisms from their own land, the natural organisms. Then we can develop some organic liquid fertilizers like Geomrutam, then compost tea, then fish tonic. There are different material, the fertilizers. Then even though small school children or even women can practice those things. And also we encourage the biochar, then the charcoal. It supports nutrient retention in the soil. That's why I told you that we are trying to develop nutrient pool in the farming system, so that biochar will support to drag nutrients, and it's supposed to retain water in the soil, and it's supposed to microorganisms to live in the soil and also loosen the soil. Then those kind of uses, supports will give with benefited to improve the soil. And also we encourage farmers to practice that mixed cropping like farming practices. Then mixed cropping mean that if farmer cultivate only one crop in his land, the competition is very high for sometimes some nutrients, and also pest and disease outbreaks may be there, because they are same crop, they will multiply easily. And also if environment or other problem will happen, the farmer will be lost.
Yes. Doctor, it's a good point to ask this question. So, how can the climate-friendly smart agriculture techniques help to mitigate the threat of climate change? As you explained, so how can we use these new techniques?
Yes. So some part I explained already.
Yeah.
Then we have to think, mainly we have to think about the soil. First one is the soil testing. Then if we initiate from soil testing, we can identify what are the problems, pH, the acidity or alkalinity, which helps to nutrient uptake. Then we can correct it if there is a salinity problem, the electrical conductivity, then also phosphorus, potassium like other nutrients, and also the organic matter content in the soil. We we support them to identify or know about get knowledge about their own soil types, and then we support them to solve their problems, and we support them to get knowledge about how much of fertilizer they have to use. This is site specific. Even though there are blanket applications for rice in wet zone and other likewise, now according to the farmers' practices, even though the same land in same yard area, the paddy fields different each and other. So the farmer can get the idea about how much of fertilizer, especially phosphorus application and organic fertilizer application. There are special products we have developed as technologies. Apart from compost as powder, we have developed the pellets and granules, which can reduce the quantity, and also we have increased the nutrient content of the material. So the farmers should not use tons of organic fertilizer. They can use some kilos, and also
drastically reduce the quantity by using these techniques.
Yes, and also we support. We ask them to apply fertilizer in doses, separate split application. Some farmers apply fertilizer even when after sowing the seeds, but no roots to absorb. So all the materials will go down, the wash off and evaporate, and also leach down to the groundwater, especially in Kalpitiya region. So Kalpitiya region, that's a sandy soil.
Sandy soil, yes.
Even we apply compost, they will go down when applying water, and especially fertilizers. They apply more. They cultivate only with the fertilizers, but the water we can't use for any purpose now. So that is why we request farmers to think about those things, and we support. The farmer should obtain the good quality seed materials and planting materials, and also they have to think about correct approaches to pest and disease management. So most of the farmers go to the shop and ask what are the solutions for their problems. So they have to identify at the initial stage of the pest and disease incidents, and they can do some remedies. So that is why we introduce integrated pest management. So without going directly for chemical application, so we can farmer can go apply the other mechanisms like mixed cropping, and also the cover cropping. Then we can use some neem seed extracts like local remedies apart from going that chemicals. And also other thing is that the management. So we have to apply correct doses. We have to especially when farmers applying chemicals, the pesticide and other things, the overdoses they use. They think that directly all the pest should be killed, and we can't find out the bees and other pollinators now. That is the one reason for reducing the yield, the pollinators, because when we apply chemicals to target insects, they will develop their resistance, but other insects, the beneficial insect will be destroyed. So those things we have to think. And also when we apply more weedicides, the most of our herbs, the medicinal plants will go out from the system. So early our food is the medicine. So those things we have to think.
Yes, Doctor, thank you for the very detailed answer, because earlier I had a question to ask about the organic farming, which we had a very bad experience in the past. But now you gave a very extensive and elaborated answer on that, so I'm not going to ask that question once again. Right. Okay. Now I would like to ask from Mr. Pradeep, what are the actions can be taken to ensure the food security under these circumstances?
Yeah, yes, Mr. Prasad. Now, already in the agriculture sector, there is a main two challenges we want to address. First one is we want to increase our food needs to food security in the country. While during that, we want to protect our environment. So this is the two challenges. So with that two challenges, there is other challenges coming from the side. This is the climate change. So we want to address that climate change challenges also. So first one, we have to take some action to improve our crop production. Finally, increase our food security, and later we can consider about that. So that we can new technology, new variety, like thing, and reduce the post-harvest losses, like thing we want to address. Other thing is with the agriculture, because in the Sri Lanka, we do agriculture in the soil. 90-80% agriculture sector doing in the soil. So we want to protect our environment, not only the soil, other things also, the air, water, and the biodiversity. We want to protect them. So the conventional agriculture system we have now, I mean that conventional agriculture system, the agriculture system use various kind of chemicals, inputs from the outside, and large amount of machinery. They support us to improve the crop yield, but some amount of destroy our environment system. Take about the high level of machinery use the fossil fuels. So when we address the climate changes, first one we want to reduce the carbon footprint. So it's an easy way to we can store the carbon in the soil, not in the air. Yeah, in the carbon we can in the carbon dioxide. So the greenhouse gases, mainly not only the carbon dioxide, the methane, like thing, greenhouse gases, they affect in the climate changes. But we can improve the carbon content in the soil. We can overcome that problem. So we can go for the word is organic agriculture system. That's why the people not in the Sri Lanka, from the other countries, they understand the problem related with the chemical, mechanical based agriculture system. After that, move to the organic agriculture system, and not totally organic, as Dr. Priyanka mentioned, like that IPNS, integrated pest management, integrated plant nutrient management system, integrated disease management system, like this. We can reduce the use of chemical, and by using smart technologies, we can reduce the need of machinery. The machinery is very challenges with the amount of fuel we use. So with the problem, with the address with that, the organic agriculture came out. Organic agriculture not a new one, but it came out as a new thing in the new version.
Yes, with new technologies and with know-how.
Yeah,
like
they
those
reduce
things,
that the use of additional inputs, more inputs. But with the time, the organic agriculture also become commercialized. Now it's the market oriented. Now the sector, some people in the large scale doing it, the organic agriculture, they do not consider protect the soil. And now they want to earn the profit. Think about in the summer produce organic vegetable in Sri Lanka. Only change the input use. For the use of the agrochemicals, they use organic fertilizer. Some botanical pest control methods. But they transport, they use large power machinery and the protected house like thing, and they transport after the final product they transport in the European countries. Think about the transport cost. Other thing is it is organic agriculture now not address the food security. Any people in the country, in the poor or low income people, they can't buy the organic food. So it's a high price due to the some certification cost, because that due to the commercialize of the organic agriculture
Of course,
sector.
very correctly you mentioned, because now in the international trade, carbon footprint has become a very important factor.
Yeah, yeah.
If you don't follow these rules, if your product is not eco-friendly, not carbon footprint oriented, your product will be rejected in the international market. You can't reach in the international market. I think
because if the product is organic, the release lot of carbon footprint is not recommended. So now the world moving to the further step more is we call agroecology, ecological agriculture. In that concept, as Dr. Priyanka said, all the accept regarding the crop biodiversity, mixed cropping, zero tillage, like things, all the methods we can consider to in the future agriculture sector. I didn't say that we can move to the 100% our country again for the agroecology concept. Think about the home garden level and the small scale land scale level, because in our country more than 30% land is the small scale. So we can go for that the agroecology concept. In the agroecology concept, we can reduce that the greenhouse gas emission also, and in the agroecology concept we didn't try to transport foods item in long distance. That's the main consideration, because by doing we can reduce the carbon emission. Like thing we can address also in the future agriculture sector. I think we want to consider about the smart with the agriculture sector with the new technology. Think about maybe AI technology. AI technology. Doing AI technology, we feed that in the AI machine do agriculture without the doing damage to the environment. Other thing, we consider about we want to doing some research and the awareness, improve the crop diversity in our agriculture field. Like thing we can face to the climate change. In the finally, I want to address climate change is not the challenges we face in our life. In the ancient time also, in our past history, there is some record that there was a climate change. As Dr. Veerakorn said, why our people build a tank system. There also in some climate changes was happened, but people tolerated that. So majority that people tolerant with the environment, not against the environment. When we go for the environment, we can face to the climate change.
Yes. Now the final question goes to Dr. Veerakorn. how can we secure food sector in the face of current threats? We discuss many situations. So how can we secure the final aim of our endeavor to secure the food sector, secure the food chain for people? So how can we secure it?
Yeah. Now, as you said, when you think of the current threats, I'm not going to talk only on climate change and climate impacts and all that. We have to talk in terms of, as I told you earlier, the food system approach, where the seeding up to the plate system. So we have to make sure that everything is managed at the precision level to make sure that we are not producing excess, we are not producing at a lower level to, and then we are making use of the inputs as the precise amount of inputs what is required for the plant to produce something. Now, where for that only, for to how to overcome this, how to secure food in the current context, planned agriculture is the only solution. I mean, you can't over the last, I mean, in the past, when we were children, of course, our fathers decided what to cultivate, right? So, for example, if you have a paddy field, okay, this season they will think, okay, we will put this particular variety. But in time to come, I don't think we can do that. It has to be a planned agriculture where this particular area, if it is paddy, should cultivate this particular variety at a particular time, and everybody should cultivate together, so that the product coming out of it is of good quality and of a known quality. Say, for example, I will ask you a question. Have you eaten rice of BG300? No, you don't know. But you have eaten Nadu.
Yes.
Nadu is a mixture of so many varieties. Being a researcher in the Rice Research Institute, those days we used to eat, we know the taste of it, right? So, what we tried from the Department of Agriculture as well as in the FAO also through the Department of Agriculture, we had this program where we were planning to cultivate just one variety per year, so that all the inputs is very precisely managed, and then you know the seed paddy that requirement and all that, and then the output is high, and that output is marketable, because at the end of the day, farmer should get some profit out of it. He should be in a win situation. Consumer also should be in a winning situation. And then to do that, only the way I am talking about the example on paddy is to do that the plant cultivation using particular variety and all that. So for that, all that, we should support the farmer in giving the real technology, real inputs, variety and all kinds of things. Why I say that is, now when it comes to paddy farming in this country, we need roughly about 5 million tons of paddy to feed the nation, not only for our own consumption, those who are coming into this country, the animals living on rice. So, so roughly about 5 million is adequate. Today we are producing roughly about, we of course produced 5 million back in 2021 period, but of course then it went down. I'm not going to talk anything about that, but now it is catching up. Now it is time for us to make sure that that 5 million is produced. We should know where it is coming out of it. Now, if you are thinking of, as you said, the current threats, if you take, say, for example, vegetable like vattaka, nobody knows where it is coming. When there's a glut only, we know that there's a glut in this country and there's nothing to do.
Yes.
But probably you know, probably you don't know, the Department of Agriculture has developed a system to do that, but unfortunately it's not gone to the farmer. Now, with the support from FAO, we are Department of Agriculture is developing a model called Cropics, where each and every field, whether it's paddy or whether it's vegetable, whether it's fruits or anything, we know exactly the amount of that particular commodity, amount that is being planted, and then once you do that, then the department can predict when it is coming to the market and what is the quantity that is coming to the market. By that way, we can control, we can educate the farmer not to cultivate and to cultivate something. There again, the agrarian department is also doing a big job in identifying the land classes and all that. So that planned agriculture is a must in the future. Now, the second aspect is, of course, the marketing. Now, I told you the Tropics is helping to make sure that the exact quantity is produced, and we know in advance what is the quantity that is required. So the policymakers can in advance know that okay, there will be a reduction in Kira Samba after another 3 months time, so they can plan imports or whatever thing that they want to do. Now here again, when it comes to paddy alone, we should plan what is the current requirement, what is the consumption pattern of this country. We should know what is required for the country. Rather than saying, okay, Kira Samba is not available in this country right now, we should plan ahead and tell the farmers, okay, go ahead and cultivate, say, 150,000 hectares of Kira Samba from these particular land classes, and that is that amount is adequate for the country, right? So that type of planning is a must in this field. So therefore, that policy should be aligned with this thing. The other one is, of course, I am talking about is the there are even I was talking about the large scale cultivation, where the precision agriculture comes in. Now, if you think of chili alone, now for this country we are importing roughly about 50,000 tons of dry chili this for our own consumption. Probably very small amount is green chili, of course we don't import, but dry chili 50,000 tons. To produce 50,000 tons, we need roughly about 250,000 tons of green chili. If you divide that by the current productivity levels, that's about 3 tons to 4 tons per hectare of green chili of 15 tons per hectare. We need a huge amount of land. So where is that land? More than the land to cultivate that land, what is the import that is required? So that is where the as they said, the Department of Agriculture has developed these precision farming technologies. Now, Mahalupalam has developed hybrid chili varieties which can fetch roughly about 40 to 50 tons per hectare. It can produce using drip irrigation, reduce the water requirement by almost 30 to 40%. By using all these fertigation techniques, precise, so that we will conserve the environment. So that is the way that we should go in assuring that farming is sustainable, is producing adequate amount, and it's not harming to the environment. So there again, research is a very important component. I mean, of course, the Department of Agriculture is doing a lot of research on that. We know we have rice varieties which are resistant to major pests and diseases. Productivity is over 5 to 10 tons per hectare, but productivity, there's a big gap. So all these technologies should go to the farmer, and farmer should adopt those technologies. And to go back again to the other approaches, it is not only the large scale farming that also, but the small scale high-tech agriculture should also go into this. That is where the protected agriculture, greenhouse agriculture should come in. Those crops which cannot be grown outside, we should grow in, say, for example, high-value cash crops. Even chili is being grown now inside the greenhouses where the prices are very high. I mean, the productivity is very high. So those things also should go into these farming systems. Adequate support for farming, the young generation should be there to make sure that they will come into the picture and adopt these sustainable farming systems in this endeavor.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Thank you for very detailed and insightful answer. With that, we are going to conclude our discussion. This series of discussions will continue coming week as well. So we would like to invite you to be with us, to be a part of this endeavor of securing the climate as well as securing our farming sector, our agriculture, and our nature from the ill effects of climate change, and how to mitigate the disasters in the future. Thank you very much, and good night.